Hey, hi, listener or viewer. Just a heads up, this is a message from me from the future. This episode is very rant heavy, so if you want to hear me just get angry and yell about how strange maybe all the old plumbers in Race Against Time are, then, cool, stay. But, if you don't, uh, that's cool too. This is in no way a serious video. I am not a professional reviewer or anything. It's just for fun. Okay, start the thing. Go. It's starting now. I'm doing it. Okay. Theme song. It started when our podcast was uploaded on YouTube. I need a second verse, please tell me what rhymes with YouTube. But there's only one podcast that gives you your bedtime fixes, AlieNation. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So, welcome back to the AlieNation podcast. If you, yeah, if you listen back to the last one and you got all the way through, cool. Good on you for participating. Good on you for enduring my voice. Cool. I appreciate it. Alright, so today is gonna be a review heavy episode. I have episode reviews of the reboot Digital Quality and Timbuk TV, and I also have movie reviews with Secret of the Omnitrix and Race Against Time. Before like all of the main topic stuff, I usually do or try to do some news, but there's no news. There's no new news about the movie coming out this fall or anything really. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. Digital Quality. Digital Quality is episode 31 of season 4. Low Decibel traps Ben Tennyson inside the CD library and demands a ransom. Ben and Gwen find Kevin on a potentially nefarious quest of his own, but it turns out that Low Decibel may have already found the item that they so desperately desired. Okay, so, opinions. I like Lord Decibel as a character. Like, his design is cool, and his powers are cool, but the episodes that are based around him, I feel like they're okay. I feel like they can be more. Like, he can be more as a character. Like, his abilities should be similar, if not kind of similar, to someone like Ultimate Echo, instead of him just standing behind a music booth, a floating music booth. So his plan is to collect CDs and use the music from the CDs to control people and distract them with dancing, so he can rob places, as a typical villain does. Like I said before, the Lord Decibel episodes are okay. The next episode I'm gonna talk about I really like, so I'll get into that later. But there is a flashback that I really like. When Max talks about when he used to listen to CDs, and they go back to the original art style from the original series, and I love it. I like when they reference the original series. It's a way of telling the viewers that have been with the show since 2005 or wherever you got into the show before the reboot that, yeah, they're aware, and they still care, and they're aware that we're still watching and following Ben's new journey. Kevin's goal is to basically go to sleep, and the CD that what that's what chooses is an ASMR CD. So the episode ends with Ben and Kevin beating no decibel so that Kevin can sleep. Like I said, low decibel episodes, in my opinion, a lot of these episode reviews are just gonna be me being, I like that. That was alright. That was fun. That was pretty cool. I don't have a problem with the 11-minute format, but still, like, there's only so much you can do with that amount of time. But don't get me wrong, they make it work. Another thing that I liked about this episode is the Ben and Kevin, like their transforming sequences. They're together, and I really like that. It's very creative. Alright, so Timbuk TV. So Timbuktu is back, and he basically has his own reality show that's a version of Man vs. Wild. Kevin's former agent is also back, so I guess he got out of jail. The Tennysons, they go on this reality. They don't voluntarily go on this reality show, but they kind of get caught up in it, and Ben has to race Tim to find this orchid. It's not an orchid. Orchid to basically stop Tim from stop Tim from destroying this rare flower in the swamp. I really like the Omnitrix in this episode. Like, the transformation is one of the better transformations of Omnitrix Humongosaur and Humongosaur just in general. I posted a clip of this before, but it was Ben singing the original theme song when he was transforming, and I really love that. Like, again, like I said before, with them bringing in original themes from the previous 4 series, I just really like that. It's nostalgic. That's the word I was looking for before. It's really cool and fun to see them not only make fun of themselves in a way, but reference themselves. Like, I think it was last season or the season before that, during the Zingo episode, where they referenced Alien Force and like how serious it was. And yeah, I just really like that. I enjoy those parts of the show. So yeah, I really like Timbuk TV better than digital quality, and that's all I gotta say about that. Okay, so Secret of the Omnitrix. So this is the first Ben 10 movie ever. So, after a fierce battle in a power plant with Dr. Animal, Ben notices something strange happening with the Omnitrix, but doesn't tell anyone. Tetrax arrives drawn to the self-destruct signal broadcast by the Omnitrix. He takes Ben to go find the creator of the Omnitrix and fix it before it destroys itself, Ben and the universe along with it. So I got a lot of notes. I got a lot of notes for this one. Just off the bat, like the intro, I will never forget that intro. And it just gets right into the Omnitrix, and it pans around there, taking the aliens, and the soundtrack's playing. There are multiple beginnings of this movie. It wasn't on the disc that I had, but I do remember it. And I thought I had the one with like the trivia that would pop up on the screen, but I didn't. So I had to look up trivia for myself. So yeah, the alternative versions were, well, there's 4 different versions of the film. So there's different versions of the film. The original version has Heat Blast entering at the nuclear plant. Another version has Accelerate, and another one is Eye Guy entering. I would really like to prefer Eye Guy just because he had a lot of play in Omniverse, but in the original series he kind of just showed up one day. Like, he literally just showed up one day and he was gone until Omniverse. So I would have really liked to see that him get a bit more things to do. So before everything else, kicks off, I just want to point out when they're in the mall, the Tennysons, they're at a store, a woman's store inside the mall called The Rack. So, innuendos, This movie has like a lot of dark tones, and like from with the Omnitrix self-destruct, I just remember thinking like little me like believing that Ben was gonna die the entire movie. Gwen seemingly dies. Gluto seemingly dies. Well, Gluto technically dies. Vilgax stole the ship and killed the members on board. He just shot him in his face. And Tetrax's origin is just on a whole nother level. Truly, I'm really like super surprised that like Ben never transformed into a member of Vilgax's race. Like we got Vilgax, we got Mayax, we got the Ghost Town episode. We got to see their home planet, and like throughout those four original series, he did not once turn into a cut. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the name of it. I know I can't, but he never. That's it. He never turned into a Vilgax. So I'm surprised that it took them all the way up to the fifth series to introduce that concept. So when they're on in Carsicon, I like got a lot of nostalgia feel because I remember before everyone knew about the legend of Ben Tennyson, I was really like fascinated at like the myth of the Omnitrix. Like everyone, all the aliens in our Carsicon being like, it's real, and like it's in the hands of a human or whatever. Like them all just like scrambling to get it. Also, I think Gwen kills someone in that fight because she uses a spell and like breaks a pipe and like red gas or whatever like shoots in this alien's face. And they start coughing and then they drop to the floor. I don't want to say she killed him, but I think she killed him. Also, there's a useless galvanic mechamorph in that scene. Like you see him, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't shoot a laser from his eye, or I guess there isn't a lot of technology around, so he can't really possess anything, but he doesn't really do anything. When Vilgax confronts Ben on Tetrax's ship, I just remember, and I got that feeling when I watched it again, but like how scary he used to be. Well, I guess he still is, but just like seeing him over and over again coming back, the fear factor dims. But this moment with him, like cornering Ben and just trying to, like cornering Ben and trying to chase him down. Each version of Vilgax has their own little thing that makes them scary in their own way, but original Vilgax, Steve Bloom is just an amazing voice actor. Also put down in my notes, Asmus' biosuit resembles Atomic's. The final battle is amazing. I remember that back then that was my Avengers Endgame. I also wanted to talk about this. So after Asmith sees Ben like take off the device of the Omnitrix, that was basically keeping the energy surges to a minimum and using it as like a weapon to deactivate or scramble Vilgax's robots. In that moment, he realizes, oh, well, this kid from Earth just used the Omnitrix in a way that I never thought. It made me think, like, because Paradox visited Azimuth and said, hey, there's a kid on Earth, just let him keep the most powerful device in the universe. Okay? Are you cool with that? Are you okay with that, Azimuth? I think that moment made him really believe that. Like it set in motion Asmus' trust in Ben, using the Omnitrix in ways that it wasn't intended to be used. Also put here Wade Biggs debut. Also zombie aliens. The end, on the radio, the zombies are attacking the mall, and we never see them again. We don't see them at all, really. We never hear from them again. So I just want to, like, what were they, and where did they come from? Because that was probably just like how do we end this on like a fun little note? So Race Against Time. Now, before I get into my review, I want to read a review from Lewis, who says, I like Ben 10. This movie makes me tingly. I wish that I was Benjamin Tennant's son. Benjamin Tennosn. Uncle Max is a very hunky lad, and he makes me feel fresh. Don't even get me started on Vilgax. I love this movie with all my soul. And we love that comment, Lewis. Looking back on this movie, I was both impressed and confused. So the movie starts with Eon invading Bellwood. I really remember the CGI of the aliens looking really better when I was little, but of course, again, I was little. Heat Blast just kills Eon straight up, and they even mention it like afterwards. One mentions it and Ben mentions it that, wait, you just killed this dude. He should be dead. The acting is good. I like the actors, all the actors in the movie. All the main actors. We'll get to the plumbers later. So I like Graham. I really like Graham Phillips as an actor. I feel like I don't see him in more roles than I should. So he was on few episodes of Riverdale when Riverdale wasn't the null void of television it is today. He played like a scummy drug dealer or whatever the hell. If you don't watch the show, good. Like, you saved your brain cells, but they had this drug. Basically, like, it was called Jingle Jingle. It was just those sugar sticks. Instead of like powdery sugar, it was a powdery drug that you put on your tongue. A drug that a bad guy, Hiram Lodge, was using to control the people in the town or something. But at the end of the season, his plans were thwarted by a bunch of high schoolers. So he decided to deal with them by taking those high schoolers' parents and creating Legion of Doom, or whatever happened at the end of that season, and then tried to control the town with the board game. But strangely enough, controlling the town with the board game also fell flat. I mean, what else are you gonna be doing in your life? Work, school? This board game was everywhere. Like, I think Betty, who went to school that one day, everybody, and I mean everybody, from like the staff to the cheerleaders and the jocks, were playing this knockoff Dungeons and Dragons game. But now in season 4, it's even more crazy. We got cult leaders jumping in rockets, father-daughter relationships that go too far. They have so many secrets, brothers and sisters and cousins. Cheryl Blossom was the best character in that show, even when she became like the Red Arrow for a second, but it was real. But like they just completely ruined her. Also, they cast Sam Witwer and did absolutely nothing with his character. He was a teacher who was secretly part of some secret writing organization or whatever. I guess he said too much, so one day during class he just jumped out the window mid-sentence and killed himself. But get this, folks, no one on the Riverdale team told him anything about what he was doing there. So like they called him up and said, "Hey, we need you out here. We really, like, you can't say no. We really want you for this role." So he went out and didn't tell him anything about the role until like some months later. This isn't some Infinity War or Endgame situation where you make multiple scripts so that nothing gets out to the public. This is Riverdale, where a bunch of high schoolers break their friend out of prison. I don't know how I can believe that a kid can turn into over 1,000,000 aliens, but I can't with Riverdale. So Ben's in school in this series, in this movie. This really, like, looking back on it, I really thought and remembered wanting like a school-focused series, at least like one season at least, where like he's, struggling with school. Basically like every other superhero double life plot, but with aliens. Okay, so milkshake shirt. I put milkshake shirt in my notes because Ben turns into gray matter and, crosses all the wires, makes all like the milkshake machine spray on all his like Cash and JT and those girls who were randomly making fun of him. And then like a scene later after that, he's got milkshake on his shirt, which I just thought that was a good, consistency. Also, the the classic Ben 10 shirt just does not work in live action. It doesn't. No, it does not. It looks weird, like a weird cloth. I put Skeleton Man, Ear Cheeks, the plumber. in the hardware store, which the hardware store elevator, I don't care how advanced your technology is. How that doesn't work. I was so debacled by that because I didn't understand how that worked. The last plumbers of Bellwood are all old. There's no late. They're all old. They're all old and they're scattered around the town, and it's weird. They're very incapable. They don't really do anything. And at the end of the movie, I'm skipping ahead, I don't care. At the end of the movie, Eon invades, and nobody realizes it. Nobody. Also in the scene with Diamond Head and versus Eon, which is the best scene in the movie, really. So the bell rings, the fire alarm, whatever rings. When the seriously though, besides all that, I really like this movie. Just for the sole purpose of me remembering back when it first came out and how excited I was. The fight scene with Diamond Head is still my favorite part of the movie, but I think the reason I'm being so hard on it is because it's been a long time since it's been a long time since I last saw it. And during that time, I saw so many like blockbusters and Hollywood special effects. Like, and so much of that has obviously evolved since then, so I've become tainted. I'm spoiled by the magic of movies today, and I've forgotten just how much a gem this movie truly is. Alarm rings, all the students in the school gather around in the gymnasium. That small ass gym. Why don't you just go outside in the parking lot or the courtyard or whatever? Why do you cram an entire school into one gym? Also, they really blew up that RV. They really blew up that rest fucking office website. Incapable plumbers already talked about that. Eon shot like a bolt at Max, like a energy bolt at Max. It did absolutely nothing. Eon transformation looked good. The Eon D transformation was good. They got second place, even though Wild Mud just turned into Ben, which is weird because nobody put two and two together. Nobody saw the Omnitrix badge on Wild Mud's shoulder, and nobody saw the Omnitrix on Ben's wrist. Nobody put two and two together. I'm ranting. I don't know why. Why did Ben decide to take the Omnitrix off at the end of the movie? Who knows? At the end of the movie, they're all like, don't worry, all the plumbers are around or whatever the freak they say. And then they show an old lady, and they show an old man, and a cable guy, and a lady like pushing a cart, old lady pushing a cart. They're all old. They're all old and incapable. This universe's plumbers they're not. Why? Seriously though, besides all that, I really like this movie. Just for the sole purpose of me remembering back when it first came out and how excited I was. The fight scene with Diamond Head is still my favorite part of the movie, but I think the reason I'm being so hard on it is because it's been a long time since it's been a long time since I last saw it. And during that time, I saw so many like blockbusters and Hollywood special effects. Like, and so much of that has obviously evolved since then, so I've become tainted. I'm spoiled by the magic of movies today, and I've forgotten just how much a gem this movie truly is. I apologize for that rant, but now it's time for the alien of the week. This week's alien of the week is Swampfire, who is the Omnitrix DNA sample of a methanosian. Powers and abilities include chlorokinesis, pyrokinesis, chlorokinetic enhanced combat, pyro enhanced combat, methane generation, sleeping spores, seed generation, adhesive mud. He can create vine whips, vine tentacles, limb reattachment, regeneration, elasticity, intangibility, body alteration, pyrokinetic flight, strong teeth, powers and abilities, strong teeth. Also intangibility, he did that once. Enhanced strength, durability, dexterity, agility, flexibility, jumping, and stamina. Voiced by D. Bradley Baker, and in Omniverse 2, he was voiced by David Kaye. Here's some trivia. Swampfire is one of the 5 aliens to be temporarily destroyed and removed from the Omnitrix / Ultimatrix. The other 4 being his evolved counterpart, Waybig, Chromastone, and Feedback. Swampfire is the reason why Kevin gained his X-shaped scar on his chin. Swampfire is the final alien used by the original Omnitrix. Coincidentally, he is also the first alien to be used by said Omnitrix after its recalibration. Swampfire is the first alien used in Alien Force. Coincidentally, the first alien used in the original series, Heat Blast, also has fire-based abilities. He's one of the 4 regular aliens to get a complete redesign in Omniverse, including Sasquatch, Ito, and Chromastone. Okay, so that was an experience, right? If you made it this far, I applaud you. Good job, like for real. For real. Next week I promise will be better. Or well, yeah, next time we do one of these, I promise it'll be better. I will be reviewing Destroy All Aliens, and there's also like a Ben 10 book that's coming out this summer, so I'll be talking about that as well. Again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you when I see you.